Good morning. Good morning. Ramses, good evening, right?
Good
Um,
afternoon. Good afternoon. We're not quite there yet.
it's 5 a.m. We're doing a special interview. Tamsi has graciously honored us to give us insight on a little bit about her life and what she's doing. And let's see, give me 1 second. Just want to make sure that we're all connected. I'm going to check one thing. I think we should be good. Okay, we're good. All right. So what is today? Today is Thursday here, Friday there.
No, we're still Thursday.
You're still Thursday. Okay. It's so confusing. So Tamsi's tuning in from the United Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
So and all right, let's just get to it. It's super windy over here, so if I cut in and out, bear with me. Plus, we're going all the way to the United Kingdom today. But all right, so let's just get right to it. So Tamsi, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and who Tamsi is.
My name's Tamsin, and I am a mum of one, and I live in the UK, and I am a recovering corporate, I call myself, and also a serial entrepreneur. So I have been running I've been working since, I think, I was thinking about this before the interview, since about 10 years old, earning extra money. And I've always thrived on being financially independent. And so I find that that's like a really good foundation for me for pure freedom in all other aspects of life. What do I value? I value family, making a difference, outdoors, sunshine, as and when I can get it.
Yeah.
In the UK, it's a little bit different. And helping mums overcome what seems to knock us off kilter quite often when you become a mum. I went through, it's not as bad as some. I was never diagnosed with postnatal depression or anything like that, but I went through a really rough time when I had Zara, feeling that my self-worth had been somehow diminished because I was no longer able to bring home the bacon or, earn lots of money. And actually the fact that I didn't want to, I actually wanted to stay at home with her. But then you have this, whether it's a value that's injected into you when you're small, because, you say, go to school, get good grades, go to university, get a good job, etc., etc. But I had in me a desire to succeed professionally as well, or to be, succeed in some profession, not necessarily corporate. And so trying to balance those or see the pull between the two of them in my head was just unreal for probably nearly a year. So I'm a recovering corporate serial entrepreneur and a mum who tries to balance personal and professional.
Nice.
It's a journey, isn't it?
It is. And just briefly before we keep going, I actually met or was introduced to Tamsi through Jay Okino, and he's like, you're going to be able to connect with her. And ever since he connected us, this lady right here has a lot of insight, and she makes me feel like I'm not alone, because just what you're talking about, even though it's a little bit of reverse for me, my mother was actually so focused on career that when it became time my kids, I was like, okay, but I really want to stay home and be present, because that's what I missed from my mom. So it's interesting. So make sure you guys are taking notes of what she's saying, because you guys are not alone, and we all know being a mom is a hard job, but it's super rewarding. So let's go into mindset, Tamsi. So how do you balance your family life and business life, and kind of give us the story of the background and how that all meshes for you?
It was as I alluded to just briefly. It was really, really hard to figure out what to do around Zara. So lots of people said, "Oh, we'll go back to work 4 days a week, and then you can see her, at the weekends and stuff, or you could work half days." But she was still so small, and it sounds a bit selfish, but I didn't want to give that up. I wanted to make sure that I was there for as much as I possibly could. And it's a way of, it took me months. So first of all, I looked into Forex trading, and I actually still do that. So I thought I could teach other mums how to Forex trade and they could stay at home. But there are a lot of preconceptions about Forex trading, and there are unfortunately a lot of people that have been taken for big rides with it. And so I just found that there were huge objections that, as someone who wasn't, or still isn't professional in it, so I haven't got qualifications or anything like that, I just know how to do it, and I do it well. It was a real stumbling block. So I was like, okay, right, park that one. That one's not really going to work. And then I started looking at me and talking to my friends, like, okay, so what am I actually good at? And they were like, well, you're always there for people, and you can manage to. Well, one of my favorite ones was, you've always got sunshine in your pocket. And I was like, well, I can't really sell that, but thanks, that's really nice, guys. And then it was, well, you can pull out the best of any situation. And I was like, right, okay. So, and I can see a business in any opportunity. If you tell me something that you can do, I can create a business from it. That's one of my superpowers. So I was like, right, so I can show mums how to get out of, having to go back to work and creating a business that they want. So that's when kind of the whole online journey began, and that was, it almost coincided with the darling C word, wherever that is in the world, but the pandemic that we're in now. So it began like January, February last year. And I thought, right, okay. So I took a few courses myself. In fact, I took lots of courses myself, and I've pulled the best of all of them, and then also filled in the gaps to show mums how they can create programs, online programs, not things that you don't have to do one-to-ones, unless of course you want to, but the way to gain true financial freedom and is to do not just one to many, but one to worldwide. Hence why you go online and you allow people to self-study if they want to, or they can have time with you if they want to as well. So that's kind of how it came about. But the mindset is pure sheer stubbornness, a drive to succeed, and just a deep down belief that I have something to offer. And I know everybody does. It's one of the main objections I get when I talk to people. Is like, I've got nothing I could sell. And I'm like, everybody has something. Absolutely everyone. In fact, everyone probably has an academy of online courses that they could sell. It's the amount of self-esteem and self-belief. So that's and also just that I have to do it for Zara. So that's just what's pushed me through. I don't want her to ever have to go through what I went through and have to think about making a decision about whether she'd like to be with her children or go to work.
Right.
So,
yeah, I'm all about that legacy, making sure my kids know that there's no box. You just, do what you want to do. And if you decide to go to college, that's great. If you decide to open a business, that's great. Whatever your heart brings, that will bring me joy. So exactly. I'm all about that.
You just want to see them happy, don't you?
Yes. Oh, we actually have some early birds with us. Oh, wow. Good morning, MJ. If you guys are tuning in live, #live, any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We will have time to answer them. And if you really, really enjoy what Tamsin is sharing with us, smash some hearts, give her some likes. And we will start digging into what she is founded. She's the founder of Digital Lab. So let's talk about the Digital Course Lab. Yes. I was like, you have so many different things. I'm like, okay, what is her focus? But so Digital Course Lab. So what exactly is that? What do you do with it?
So Digital Course Lab is about all things. I was thinking all things digital to begin with, but now I wanted to narrow it to digital courses to begin with. So anything from digital courses, from whether you want to get your blog online into a course, or whether you want to, I've spoken to some hairdressers and I'm like, well, you can do tips on hairdressing, especially as none of us can go to the hairdressers right now, or, depending on where you are in the world, all these different things. So Digital Course Lab is all about getting what's in here onto something that you can assimilate online as simply as possible. So I like to take all the fluff out of everything and all the nice to have theory, and it's literally just actionable ways to get yourself from idea even, or even pre-idea, part of the program that I have, if you come in without an idea, it's absolutely fine. I pull it out of you. And then we create a course out of it. And then most importantly, with the Plug, Play and Profit program that I have at the moment, I actually show you how to sell it. So a lot of courses that I went on, it's great. It's, yeah, of course I can build a course, brilliant. But then at the end of it, you're like, well, okay, now I can't sell it. So that's a complete waste of my time and probably money investing in whatever course it is. So quite a lot of the course, the third module, the third pillar, is all about selling it. So it's about, I call it captivate your audience, but we go through social media, different platforms, how you really, when you should, you start, you must focus on one, master that, and then you can expand, how to engage with your clients, what language to use, just literally how to have them so they come to you and they start putting their hands up. And that's really what you want to begin with anyway. Well, once you've got a proven concept, then of course you can start looking at paid ads and stuff, but that should be way down the line, not when you start.
Right. So we actually, a couple of our reviewers, because I know kind of what they do, they're entrepreneurs in their own right. But like for MJ, she's all into non-toxin household products.
Yeah.
So keeping that in mind, what would you offer her as far as a structuring just like a simple course for her?
So I would do a simple course, 6 steps on how to detoxify your home. So someone for example, lots of mums, and is MJ a mum?
Yes.
She is, yeah. So when you become a mum, you become a lot more aware maybe of the products that you're using, which is funny, it's exactly the same on our skin, but as soon as there's a baby around, you start thinking it.
Yeah.
Maybe mums actually want to prepare for that, because I started thinking about it when I was still pregnant. And I could have really done with some help on where on earth do I even start with doing this? How do I begin? Okay. So either do you start from the top of the house and work down, or do you start from the kitchen to the bathroom, to the garage, to the bedroom, to the, there's so many different ways that you can approach it. But a simple way to detoxify your home, so like even a self-study to begin with, so that people could just go through it and go, right, I need to check that out. And the fact that you can use bicarbonate vinegar to clean. Who knew it? And it's just as good as this nasty stuff that you have to leave the room because it makes your eyes sting.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying.
And then let's do one more, because Phyllis is also on too, and she has so many. She's like you, a serial entrepreneur. But her main focus is her catering business, which focuses on Filipino food. Any ideas of if she were interested in creating a course, like where would she start, or what would the idea be?
Okay, I love it. I used to be in events too, so I get the draw for catering. Phyllis, do you just do the food, or do you do the whole event organization, or do you prepare the rooms, etc.? Could you just answer that for me? If you're still with us.
Side note: MJ likes your tips. She says thank you.
Absolute pleasure.
I think she hasn't messaged back. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
it's plant-based. Yeah, plant-based Filipino food.
Well, plant-based, if I can say that in one way, Filipino food. You could do the same as I've mentioned to MJ, because a lot of people are looking to move to plant-based. I myself am, but I find it quite hard to move to plant-based that isn't full of, what's the right word?
Filler?
Yeah. So it's, things like, okay, you don't want to eat sausages, here's a fake sausage. Okay, well, half of it's like chickpea flour or something else that I don't really want to eat. I just like to eat. I'd like to eat chickpeas if I want to, but I don't want to have the flour ground up, because that's not what I'm trying to do. So not the events so much, just food. Okay. So you could also do 6 steps or 5 ways to, make your kitchen plant-based easily. And then you could sell a recipe book. So it doesn't have to be online courses. I mean, this is a digital course lab. But there are other ways. I'm looking at bringing out another course about how to change your ideas into anything from a book to a podcast to an email campaign to, I mean, there's so many different ways that you can repurpose what you know, and you can put it into a course as well. You know, there's probably about 20 different things that you can do with what you know. So yeah, tips on people on how to change their food to plant-based, or even how to prepare for an event. So if you do the catering, you could show everyone how you do what you do, in as much as, you know, all the preparation that goes into it. Everything into it, apart from actually doing the food. And then they'll go, oh my God, this is so amazing. But people still need, no matter how much you give them, they normally need a hand in execution, or, you know, taking action. And that's where all of your course sales will come in, because people are very good at thinking about ideas and wanting to do stuff, but implementing it and actually executing it is a very different matter. So you need to find, so Phyllis is very easy because that's a pain point. So I'm talking, MJ is a pain point. So Phyllis, so you do it healthy wise. So I think over in America, and don't get me wrong, but you guys, there's a lot less restrictions on what goes into your food. Is that right?
So,
yeah. I've spoken to another lady about non-toxic, and she now grows everything in her garden because she was. So I'm taking it from that. And so maybe you could talk to people who are worried about toxicity, but on a different level in their food. Or do you want to be in control of what actually goes into your body? Let me show you how to create your own plant-based meals. And you can take them through week by week how you build on. So first of all, from doing something simple like breakfast, to second of all, lunch, to third of all, you know, third week, lots of dinner recipes. Fourth week, how to run your own event that's plant-based, potentially. So you use all of your skills and build it on. And then sixth week could be, you know, how you put this all together, sample shopping lists. And then, oh, by the way, I've got a 3-month mastermind program if you'd like me to show you and do weekly cook-alongs or something with you. There you go.
Love it, love it. Says, she's already working on a recipe book. So
there you go.
You guys are thinking line.
Yeah, that'd be a good lead magnet, your recipe book. Not too many in there, but maybe like 5 to 7 really good ones that people can use and like just amend, and then that brings them to you.
Right. Okay, so you kind of already showed us or explained, but your signature process of how you get someone from an idea to a course to actually selling it. So let's, I don't know if you want to say it quickly one more time, and then we'll go into the struggles that you see in the industry.
Okay. Well, the program is called Plug, Play and Profit. So basically the first module is all about clarifying what it is that you're going to offer. So clarifying your concept. So we look at everything that you are good at, everything that you love doing, everything that people ask you for. You know, there's spreadsheet after spreadsheet for you to fill in that kind of will help draw you out. And then also we've got group coaching once a week. So I really dig deep into the day-to-day lives of people and try and figure out actually what makes them tick. Because your passion, well, not necessarily passion, your enthusiasm for what it is that you're teaching will come across in how you teach and how you engage with your potential clients and therefore your clients. And if you're not passionate about it, you're not going to get loyalty, you won't get repeat business, etc., etc., etc. So that's very, very important for me. I don't think that just because, for example, just because Phyllis is a caterer doesn't mean she should do a course on catering. Right. She might actually be amazing and be truly made for something completely different, but I don't know that at the moment. But that's what the first hurdle, so to speak, is for me. So that's plugging everything from here into spreadsheets, and we try and pull out actually what the idea is and who you're really here to serve and change lives. Because the one thing for me is these courses, yes, of course, they're about making money for you and making you independent, but you need to really care about who you're working with. And that's the difference that takes you from a course that will just pay the bills to one where you'll be making an impact worldwide. So that's the first pillar. And then we play it out. So the play is where we put it into a course content, course structure. We look at the way that you make sure that you get learning objectives for your clients, and you get them results. It's a results-driven course process. None of the theory necessarily, unless of course they need it to build on what it is that they're going to be delivering, or what it is that you're delivering. We record it, we audio it, we transcribe it, we do everything, and then put it together on a platform. And I show you how to launch it, how to create your lead magnet that leads into the course. And then the third module is all about captivating your audience. So that is, like I said, so it's all organic marketing that I do at the moment. Like I said, after this course, I think you could go to paid, but you need at least probably 6 months of organic experience to understand that your message is hitting home, and you've actually created a course that will sell, not just one that you want to create.
Right.
So you need one that people are going to buy instead of just one that you want to sell. And so we go through all the different platforms, what times to engage during the day, how to talk to your clients, how to try and take it to the next level without pushing them. I don't teach sales calls. I don't like the practice myself. I don't like being sold to. Anything that I buy, I'll go and I'll look at it. And a lot of them will have landing pages, and they'll give you the benefits. And I won't buy from someone that I don't know. So I'm normally either part of their Facebook group, or I follow them on Instagram or something, or they come from a very close friend recommendation. So there's automatically that trust already, and I don't need to go through an hour-long sales call with them for them to persuade me to buy something. So hands up, I don't teach that. I know how to. I've got all the scripting and everything, but it's not something that I buy into. So I teach you how to do organic marketing so that people will click the button and buy. Maybe they might want a 15-minute phone call with you. That's all I suggest actually giving away, especially if you're a busy mum. I mean, that's another way that I actually balance my time with Zara, is if I was giving away hour-long sales calls, I'd never spend any time with her, because you'd be working from 9 till 5 just taking calls. So it's all about organic marketing, how to position yourself, how to get your branding together, how to get yourself recognized, how to build yourself as an authority. And then you should, as far as I'm concerned, you should be up and running. And a success story. So that's what the program's about.
Right. Love it. All right. So let's see. Anyone else? Oh, Ariel has jumped in. Good morning, Ariel. Let's see. So what are some of the struggles that you see out in the industry today when it comes to course creation?
Number one, people sell things. People create courses that they want to sell, not what people want to buy. So there's a big part of actually the first module, which we do, is testing. So you validate that your course is actually something that people want to buy. So number one is that people create courses that they want to sell, not the one people want to buy. 2 is a lack of confidence. People feel that they need to have everything together and be perfect and have an office and look at me. So I'm in my office. I've got drawings up here from Zara. And I remember my mum said to me, she said, "Shouldn't you take those down?" And I'm like, no, those are part of me. They're part of who people connect with when they want to come and work with me. So I'm very proud that those are up there. But a lot of people get into this trap that they have to be in a professional situation or surrounding for them to be able to interact with and give true service to clients, which isn't true. People will sign on because of you, not because of what your office or your background looks like. So that's 2, is confidence. And then 3, people think that they need to be teachers in the course creation. So they need to be qualified in some learning and development, or have a coach certificate, or something along these lines, some kind of piece of paper that validates them and is justification for what they're doing. I am very much a believer, as I've already said, that everyone has something to offer. And no matter where you are in your journey, you can guarantee that there's someone that's a few steps behind you. And that's all you need to be, is a few steps ahead of them, and be able to show them the way through the storm that is entrepreneurship. And
Yeah.
I've come across a wonderful quote, and I can't for the life of me. I'm very good at remembering quotes, but I'm awful at remembering who said them. But I'm pretty sure this isn't mine. Is entrepreneurship is the striving for perfection, but whilst knowing at the same time that perfection doesn't exist.
Love it.
So you're constantly in the battle with yourself because you're like, oh, I should be perfect. I should be perfect. But then your rational mind kind of knows I'm not. There's no such thing as perfect, though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, mindset is something that is continually built on. And no matter where you are, no matter how successful you are, you will have a self-limiting belief. It will just be different.
Right.
So people who wait for everything to be perfect and, okay, when I just get here, then I'll do it. When I just get here, then I'll do it. There will never be a when you just get here, because the benchmark just moves out further and further each time you hit a milestone. Oh, there's the next one.
Yep. So true.
So I find that that's a big thing that holds people back as well. Not just in course creation, in entrepreneurship, full stop.
Right. All right. So, so what are solutions that can be shared to help overcome? You've kind of dabbled in overcome the struggles in the industry today, as far as either creating a course or entrepreneurship, because we're kind of
we're straddling the two, aren't we? There,
it's still all correlates.
So, what tips? The best one that I can have is actually just be true to yourself. It will attract the right people to you that you will A, want to work with, B, you can get results for, and C, you're not going to have to put on a show every time you want to do something like this, or you want to get, I mean, you might see on some of my videos, it's the evening, I've got no makeup on, my hair's scraped up in a bun, I'm knackered, I look knackered, but I still show up. And it took me a while to think, oh, I have to do that. I need to put my makeup on. And then I thought, actually, you know what? People just need to understand and see me. And I am me. It doesn't change what comes out of my mouth. Although sometimes, when you're tired, the words don't necessarily flow quite as well. But it's all about being a mum and working in a way that you want to satisfy life, family life for you. And I think that comes hand in hand with course creation, is when you get that self-confidence, or you actually just learn to trust yourself and not care what other people think about you. There is always going to be someone who's a naysayer, and there will always be someone who will want to put you down and not agree with you. And that's fine. You don't have to be everybody's cup of tea. And when you accept that and love that, that's also when the course is fine, because you literally will connect with what it is that you can show people. And I think it flows. It flows. That's another thing that I say is, when you find your flow, one of the questions that I ask is, what do you do? What makes you forget about time? So when you're doing something, what do you forget about? What do you suddenly think, oh God, I need to pick the kids up from school, or oh my goodness, I haven't been to the loo for a few hours, or I haven't cooked supper, or something like that. So when you get into your flow, that's and you can and then sharing that. So it's trusting yourself and not caring too much what other people think, as long as you put the effort in. As in, I don't mean, try and create a course out of nothing and you don't care whether people get results or not. That's not what I mean is, but other people's opinions of you shouldn't matter, because there's a strong sense of belief. And stripping back to that, I think, is one of the core, what should I say? Yeah, well, it's the foundation of everything that you get to build afterwards. I mean, you're all about mindset, and it's such a huge. People can say it's a bit, what should I say? Woo woo or something. Oh, it's all just tell yourself you can do it. But there's so much more to it than that. It's not just a sense of, right, come on, let's go and do it. Although, I mean, I did say this morning, earlier, it's all about, I am where I am because I'm just stubborn, basically, and I refuse to give up. So, I mean, there can be some of that to it, but that's not to say that I had self-confidence the whole time. And especially becoming a mum, I don't know what it is, but it feels like that gets stripped away from you entirely when you have a child.
Yep.
And you kind of look at who you were and you're like, oh God, I'm a different person. And people keep on saying to you, oh, you need to embrace your new identity and, figure out ways to get back to who you were. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to be who I was before. And actually my new identity I quite like, because as far as I'm concerned, I've gained stuff. I haven't lost it.
Right.
So that's a big part of that, especially for mums in business. We all get told, oh, I know you've lost so much, it must be really hard. And it's like, well, kind of, but not really. You know, I've actually gained a huge amount. Not sleep necessarily. Yes, I think we can all agree that we lose the sleep.
Yep.
But you know what I did gain on the flip
Privacy.
of that? I never knew that I could function on such little sleep. Mm-hmm. Never knew it. So the mindset is what would I come back to? Sorry, I have a habit of going off on a tangent and just chatting.
That's okay. You're being real.
Yeah, well, yeah, I am. So
I love it because you a lot of the reasons what draw me to you is like, okay, you're a mom, you're still working your business and still being present in your daughter's life. And I'm like, okay, that's where I'm at. That's what I want. And I know a lot of other moms out there feel the same way. We're just like, oh God, I had kids. Who am I? What am I supposed to do? You know, I want more, but how do I get it? And we always think we're alone. We're the only mom going through it. And so that's one of like, you know, my thing is trying to get moms out of their mindset and into, you know, really embracing who they are. So, I mean, I really love your message. And it looks like quite a few of our viewers do also love your message. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Jen. They're loving the segment. I told you guys she would be worth it. Waking up early.
I appreciate all of you very much.
Let's just read a couple comments first. Carissa, she loves this. It took her a long time to realize not to care about what others think. Just being you brings out the confidence. That's very true. Good job, Carissa. I've known Carissa a very long time and seen her grow just as an individual, a mom, and a rock star right now. Mm-hmm. Jen, so many people try to tell me how to, but sticking to my guns and trusting my instinct. That's so true. I think instinct and, I mean, that's a huge, huge must, because I won't do anything that I don't think is right. So I don't know any insight from Tansy.
Yeah, I mean, I've one thing that I do talk to people about, though, is to make sure that their instinct is actually theirs and not injected values of what you think you should and shouldn't do. Because as children, of course, we take on everything that is thrown at us and given to us. And then when you're older, so for example, for me, I couldn't see myself as a success if I wasn't bringing home a huge amount of money from working in corporate. So my instinct felt like I had to keep doing that, but that wasn't actually my instinct. That was injected instinct. So I totally agree with you, Jen, about following your instinct. It's just making sure that it's yours, that you're actually following. And I sometimes, when I find myself not wanting to do a task, like I'm actually going through a bit of a coaching program myself at the moment, and I wanted to not do a piece of work. I found myself resisting doing it. Like every time I sat down at the computer, I kind of was thinking, oh, maybe I'll just go downstairs and make something, or I should really clean the fridge. I'm like, what on earth are you talking? All these ideas were popping into my head. I was totally resisting trying to do this piece of work. And the awareness of thinking, right, Tamsin, why are you trying to resist this? Because it's tipping me into the next level of discomfort. As we all know, discomfort means you're growing, but it can be a real pain in the be uncomfortable all the time. And I just kind of like sat here and I just let myself think about what it is that I actually wanted to do. And like you say, reconnect with my instinct and I call it my, my inner wisdom. So I just kind of sit and I just kind of feel where the energy is in me and whether it's positive energy or negative, and whether I know that I'm trying to fool myself by going off and doing something else, or whether actually I just don't want to do this because it doesn't sit well with me, the piece of work, or maybe, like you say, if you don't want to do something because it doesn't feel right. Sometimes bits of work that you're asked to do in coaching programs, they're like, it's not quite me, but why is it not me? Why am I not wanting to do it? Why am I hesitating? So it's all about going going a little bit deeper than just a reactive instinct. And I'm not sure what you mean, Jen. I'm sure we're probably talking the same language, but taking a bit of time to actually really connect with what it is that you're feeling about a situation that you're trying to resist or avoid or run to. I mean, it's always two, isn't it? You're either running from pain or running to pleasure. It's one of the two. So yeah, so I agree. I love an instinct.
Nice. All right, so let's we are creeping over our time. Let's go into what is it's okay, it's good. So let's go into what is your biggest win as far as digital course lab and your business?
Finally deciding on a course like a name. So I've been trying to solve everything for everyone, and that's also something that I talk about, is you really need to niche down and just decide on one subject. So big win is deciding on a name, launching my first program, which is Plug, Play and Profit. And what else can we say? Investing in myself to the level I have this year has been terrifying, but I'm already starting to see the rewards just in who I am. Like I've made a motto for this year. So my motto for this year is to astonish myself daily and to get my zest back for life. So I feel that, and zest to me means everything from business to family life, to making money, to having fun in the sunshine, to creating the garden that I want, so just really embracing life in its entirety, and not being, as you say, boxed into something or a certain way of having to be. So those are my big wins for the year so far, and that I'm really excited about the future. No, I mean, I know the world isn't in the best place at the moment, but even so, I don't feel too dampened by it. I mean, I've been superbly grateful, lucky, and I'm grateful that we haven't really been too affected. So I suppose that actually puts a big spin on it myself. But yeah, I'm just, my big one is that I'm really just enjoying life at the moment, and I can't wait for whatever tomorrow brings.
Nice. I love your zest, because when we were talking about it earlier, you're like, what zest? I was like, okay, you don't hear that very often, but you guys #zest if you want to bring that into your life, to just, live your life to the fullest, because we only get one, right? And talk to them, because I thought this was really interesting, and how you view New Year's resolutions.
So I think the New Year's resolutions are a great way to beat yourself with a stick when you don't achieve them. We generally, my New Year's resolution this year was to not make any New Year's resolutions, and just to live life daily as I want. And in that way, I've found that I'm aligned with my values anyway. So I find myself exercising relatively often. I find myself eating relatively well, but I'm not kicking myself if one day I don't exercise, or if one day I eat badly, or even for a few days if I do, because it's not a benchmark that I'm constantly comparing myself to. And I find New Year's resolutions are generally either they're not aligned to actually what we really want. And I don't particularly like the word want, desire. They're not aligned to actually what we desire or our true values. They are injected. So, for example, all this New Year's health, fitness resolution, we have to go to the gym, What happens if you don't like going to the gym? What happens if you're much better at hiking? Or if you like running around with your kids, because that can be enough exercise, I can tell you, especially depending on how many you have or how active they are. So there's all these preconceptions of what you should do for this or what you have to do for X. And they sell a lot of journals. They sell a lot of self-improvement programs, etc., etc. But actually this year, having not done it, and just the only New Year's resolution I had, like I said, is to not make one, but just to be who I want to be, I found myself immeasurably happier. Nice.
I like it. All right, so we're gonna wrap it up. So what? So we've been talking about course creations, your insight about what is the what is a tidbit of advice you can offer the audience? Oh, by the way, you guys, we'll have Tamsin in the comments, put her link. So if you guys are interested in learning any more about Tamsin or what she does, or if you just want to chat with her, through Facebook, she'll put the link in the comments. She's worth following, definitely. She has lots of great insight, as you guys can see. But I will let her wrap it up with whatever insight you would like to offer the audience.
Are we on entrepreneurship or course creation, or
let's do both. And we'll wrap it all up.
The main thing for entrepreneurship is, as I kind of alluded to earlier, is trust yourself and don't give up. Another quote that I can't remember the author of or the speaker of is, the only difference between success and failure is one failure. So keep trying. And the reason why you want to give this is because it is in you. It's something that you have to offer the world. You may need to pivot slightly, change your message slightly, niche down slightly, but generally what people come to me with is their secret power. They just don't quite know how to put it into the right kind of, course. So which leads us very, very well into courses. And the best thing with courses is keep it simple. Make sure that every piece of information that you put in there corresponds to a learning outcome that you are promising your clients and takes them one step closer to the transformation or the result. Don't give them any fluff. Don't distract them. Just take them through step by step by the hand, and you should have raving fans.
Awesome. Love it. If there's any dying questions, you guys feel free to put in the comments. We'll give you a couple of minutes. And a couple of takeaways that I got from, because I like to write notes while we're interviewing, but I love when we talked about serial entrepreneurship. That's something that I do. I try everything, and it's never really clicks because it's not what I meant to do. So I thought that was pretty awesome. Sunshine in my pocket. Like, if someone could refer to me as that, I would be like, okay, like I'm living life to the fullest. Your stubbornness keeps you your momentum. I love that. I'm half Portuguese, and Portuguese women are super stubborn.
Headstrong.
Yeah.
Headstrong.
Right. And it's one of the reasons my husband says that he married me. So love it. But then, there's other issues. But anyways, and zest. I love zest. Like living a zestful life. I love that. Like that might have to be my
covers
new
everything, doesn't it, really?
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So we don't really have any more questions. You guys feel free to put any comments, questions, or we'll get to them when we can. Oh, Phyllis has one. Let's see. What was something you did that you hated or disliked but ended up being great for you and your business?
First thing was getting back on social media. I hated it when I first started. I had a good few years off, kind of hiding myself away, but that was also down to lack of self-confidence, to be quite frank. So getting back on social media initially was something that probably I didn't hate, but I was terrified of. I was really terrified of opening myself up again. And hated or disliked. I think that's the main thing. Everything else that I have done, there is a fair amount of work behind the scenes that goes on with creating an online, not just an online business, but an online presence. So one thing that I didn't particularly like initially was how to create content that really appealed to my specific audience and my ideal clients. And when I took the pressure off having to do it is actually when it ended up flowing even more. So I learned the basics, and I learned and I read, and I went on a couple of courses on how to really put together content and get the right messaging. And now I like it. I don't really like, as I said, I didn't really like the sales. I don't really like the sales aspect too much of, the sales calls aspect. So I found it quite hard to learn all of the messaging because I don't like it to feel like you're persuading people too much. Yeah. I don't like it coming across as sleazy, you know. But then when you actually flip it and realize that your sales are serving your clients, and the only way that you can actually serve them is by selling to them, because otherwise they're never going to get the help that you can give them. That's flipped it for me, like a mindset switch from that. So learning how to sell was something I hated and disliked to begin with. And now, of course, it's great for the business because you have to do it.
Right. But when you flipped it in order to sell, you're serving your clients. I think that just flip right there would change your mindset on the impression that you have of being salesy. So that's great advice. Great. All right, guys. So we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you, Tamsin, for joining us. Very insightful. We can talk with Tamsin for hours, I'm sure. But we're all moms out there. We gotta get going. Right. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Thank you, Tamsin, and we will check in with you on Sunday. Well, not Tamsin, but with all of you out there. But don't forget, Tamsin will put her her website or how to communicate with her in the comments. So feel free to reach out to her. Phil says thank you. And thank you for joining us, guys. All right.
Yes.
Have a wonderful day.
Take care.